David Grossman is an Israeli author. His books have been translated into more than 30 languages, and have won numerous prizes. He addressed the Israeli-Palestinian conflict in his 2008 novel, To the End of the Land. Since the book's publication, he has written a children's book, an opera for children, and several poems. His most recent book, Falling Out of Time, deals with the grief of parents in the aftermath of the children's death. Biography. Grossman was born in Jerusalem. He is the elder of two brothers. His mother, Michaela, was born in Land, Palestine. His father, Yitzhak, emigrated from Poland with his widowed mother at the age of 9. His mother's family was Zionist and poor, his grandfather having paved roads in the Galilee and supplementing his income by buying and selling rugs. His maternal grandmother was a manicurist. His paternal grandmother left Poland after being harassed by police, never before having left the region where she'd been born. Along with her son and daughter, she traveled to Palestine where she became a cleaner in wealthy neighborhoods. Grossman's father was a bus driver, then a librarian, and it was through him that David, a reading child, was able to build up an interest in literature, which would later become his career. Grossman recalled, "He gave me many things, but what he mostly gave me was Sholem Aleichem." Aleichem, who was born in Ukraine, is one of the greatest writers in Yiddish, though he is now best known as the man whose stories were the inspiration for Fiddler on the Roof. At age 9, Grossman won a national competition on knowledge of the works of Sholem Aleichem, and subsequently worked as a child actor for the national radio. He continued working for Israel Broadcasting for nearly 25 years. In 1971, Grossman began his national service working in military intelligence. Although he was in the army when the Yom Kippur War broke out in 1973, he saw no action. Grossman studied philosophy and theater at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. After university, he started working in radio, where he'd once been a child actor. He eventually became an anchor on Kol Yisrael, Israel's national broadcasting service. In 1988, he was sacked for refusing to bury the news that the Palestinian leadership had declared its own state and conceded Israel's right to exist. Grossman lives in Mavasseret Zion on the outskirts of Jerusalem. He is married to Mitchell Grossman, a child psychologist. They have 3 children, Jonathan, Ruth, and Uri. Uri was a tank commander, killed in 2006 in Lebanon during the war between Israel and the Hezbollah. Uri's life was later celebrated in Grossman's book Falling Out of Time. Politics and Activism. Grossman is an outspoken peace activist who was politically left-wing, initially supportive of Israel's action during the 2006 Israel-Hezbollah conflict on the grounds of self-defense. On August 10, 2006, he and fellow authors Amos Oz and A.B. Yehoshua held a press conference at which they strongly urged the government to agree to a ceasefire that would create the basis for a negotiated solution, saying, "We had a right to go to war, but things got complicated. I believe that there is more than one course of action available." 2 days later, his 20-year-old son Uri, a staff sergeant in an armored unit, was killed by an anti-tank missile during an IDF operation in southern Lebanon shortly before the ceasefire. However, Grossman explained that the death of his son did not change his opposition to Israel's policy towards the Palestinians. Although Grossman had carefully avoided writing about politics in his stories, if not his journalism, the death of his son prompted him to deal with the Israeli-Palestinian conflict in greater detail. This appeared in his 2008 book To the End of the Land. 2 months after his son's death, Grossman addressed a crowd of 100,000 Israelis who had gathered to mark the anniversary of the assassination of Yitzhak Rabin in 1995. He denounced Ehud Olmert's government for a failure of leadership, and he argued that reaching out to the Palestinians was the best hope for progress in the region. Of course I'm grieving, but my pain is greater than my anger. I am in pain for this country and for what you and your friends are doing to it. About his personal link to the war, Grossman said, "There were people who stereotyped me, who considered me this naive leftist who would never send his own children into the army, who didn't know what life was made of. I think those people were forced to realize that you can be very critical of Israel and yet still be an integral part of it. I speak as a reservist in the Israeli army myself." In 2010, Grossman, his wife, and her family attended demonstrations against the spread of Israeli settlements. While attending weekly demonstrations in Sheikh Jarrah in East Jerusalem against Jewish settlers taking over houses in Palestinian neighborhoods, he was assaulted by police. About the incident, Grossman said, "We were beaten by the police." Quote, when asked by a reporter for The Guardian newspaper about how a renowned writer could be beaten, he replied, "I don't know if they know me at all." Works in English translation. Fiction Jewel. London, Bloomsbury, 1998, ISBN 0-7475-40926. The Smile of the Lamb. New York, Farrar, Straus and Giroux, 1990, ISBN 0-374-26639-5. See under. Love, New York, Farrar, Straus and Giroux, 1989, ISBN 0-374-25731-0. The Book of Intimate Grammar. New York, Farrar, Straus and Giroux, 1994, ISBN 0-374-115478. The Zigzag Kid. New York, Farrar, Straus and Giroux, 1997, ISBN 0-374-52563-312. Prizes in Italy. The Premio Mondello in 1996, and a Premio Grinzane Cavour in 1997. Be My Knife. New York, Farrar, Straus and Giroux, 2001, ISBN 0-374-29977-3. Someone to Run With. London, Bloomsbury, 2003, ISBN 0-7475-6207-5. Her Body Knows. 2 novellas. New York, Farrar, Straus and Giroux, 2005, ISBN 0-374-175578. To the End of the Land. Jessica Cohen, trans. Knopf, 2010, ISBN 0-307-59297-9. Falling Out of Time. Jessica Cohen, trans. Knopf, 2014, ISBN 0-385-35013-9. Non-fiction. The Yellow Wind. New York, Farrar, Straus and Giroux, 1988, ISBN 0-374-29345-7. Sleeping on a Wire. Conversations with Palestinians in Israel. New York, Farrar, Straus and Giroux, 1993, ISBN 0-374-177880. Death as a Way of Life. Israel 10 years after Oslo. New York, Farrar, Straus and Giroux, 2003, ISBN 0-374-10211-2. Lion's Honey. The Myth of Samson. Edinburgh, New York, Canongate, 2006, ISBN 1841956562. Writing in the Dark. Essays on Literature and Politics. New York, Farrar, Straus and Giroux, 2008, ISBN 9780312428600. Films. Smile of the Lamb was the basis for an award-winning film written and directed by Shimon Dotan. Someone to Run With was the basis for a film directed by Oded David. The Book of Intimate Grammar was the basis for an award-winning film by Neil Bergman. Awards and Honors. 1984, Prime Minister's Prize for Creative Work. 1985, Bernstein Prize. 1993, Bernstein Prize. 2001, Sapir Prize for Someone to Run With. 2004, J.Q. Wingate Prize for Someone to Run With. 2004, Italian Prize Premio Flairano. 2004, Bialik Prize for Literature. 2007, Emmy Prize. 2007, Ischia International Journalism Award. 2007, Honorary Doctor Honoris Causa by the Katholieke Universiteit Leuven, Belgium. 2008, Wijsversterschool Prize. 2010, Albatross Literature Prize for To the End of the Land, with German translator and Birch Hauer. 2010, Peace Prize of the German Book Trade. 2011, J.Q. Wingate Prize for To the End of the Land. 2015, St. Louis Literary Award from the St. Louis University Library Associates.